nice to have you back, and it's so nice to be back in the field with you.
You're at my place. Welcome back, eh?
Oh, thank you, thank you. So nice to be here.
Should we show people our eyes?
We're cool. We're very cool.
You're really cool. So it's not too hot of a day.
No, it's beautiful out here.
And we're out here in the blueberry patch.
We are.
We've been picking blueberries since almost mid-July, and it's now late August. We have several different varieties of blueberries. And you want a snack before you ask me any questions?
Sure, sure.
You can pick them too on your side.
Oh, I got my own little... Sure, you gave me a bare bush. Thanks, Dave. No, sure, take as many as you want, guys. There's none on there. Thanks a lot.
How about this one? Anyway, this is a later variety, and we'll be picking these blueberries probably almost till mid-September.
You have trouble with the birds?
Yes, we do.
Do you ever put nets over these, or is that too much trouble?
We've gone to, in fact, it should be on right now. It's on a timer, but with the last rain, it it tripped the circuit.
Oh, no.
So we have to readjust the timer setting. So usually it's called an air crow, and it just kind of flops up every once in a while and scares the birds away.
Oh,
It's not bad.
that's pretty good.
Yeah. So
I've seen some places put, they put balloons in the field.
yeah, we do that. We
What
do.
is that for?
They're called scare eye balloons, and they scare the birds away and it works. Usually, it works for about 3 days, and the birds get used to it.
Oh, I've seen it in the cornfields.
Yep.
Is that predominantly where they put it, in the cornfields?
No, we've
or-
used them in the blueberries as well.
you have, yeah.
But it works better in a cornfield because in a cornfield, usually the corn's ready and then it's all gone and harvested within 7 days. So if you put the scare eye balloons out there, the first 3 to 5 days it works, and then it doesn't work so well. But then after
because
day
they're onto
7, you're taking it out anyway because it's all been harvested. But in the case of the blueberries, you can see we're harvesting for 2 months. So we need something better.
So this will continue on for 2 more months?
About another 3 weeks.
Yeah. Oh, another 3 weeks.
Yeah. Mid-September.
That's great.
You can see all the green ones still on here. So,
Yeah.
a blueberry like this won't be ready for
Oh, the green
probably
one, yeah.
about another 2 weeks at least.
Oh. All right.
All right. So those are the blueberries.
Yep.
We planted them probably about 6 years ago.
Oh,
And,
yeah. I remember when they were little.
Yeah. Every year they're getting bigger and bigger. So give them another 2 or 3 years, and they'll probably be about this high, and at full maturity, pretty much.
How many blueberries do you get from, well, say one bush? Would you get like a pint or?
From one bush, you might average somewhere between 10 and 20 pints.
Oh, really? That's good.
Average.
That's
you
actually
might
a
have
lot
some.
of blueberries from one
It is.
little
It
bush,
is. Some varieties bear better than others, obviously. This being a later variety, I find this flavor's not quite as sweet, but they're ready at a time where the better flavor varieties are no longer available.
Now, what is this called?
This variety is called Elliott.
Now, what are the other ones?
So the earlier varieties are actually towards that side.
Oh, I remember them.
Yeah, and again, those we started harvesting around July. Here are the birds. Around July 10th. There's Duke, Chandler, Blue Crop, Blue Ray, Patriot.
Are they sweeter?
They are. Yeah. But we do have some sweeter things out here you can go eat if you want. We just have some strawberries and some raspberries.
Let's head out there.
All right then, let's go.
Let's go for the sweet stuff. Besides you, Dave.
Oh, thanks, Kate.
Yeah. Well, Dave, now we're in the strawberry patch.
Now we're in the strawberry patch. It's usually people think of strawberries as a June crop. We do have strawberries in June, but we also grow some other varieties, some newer varieties. If you think about it, there's strawberries coming out of California almost year-round, so they've developed new varieties that are not day light sensitive. So most of the strawberries are June-bearing because they know it's the longest time of year. And so they're triggered by day length to mature at that time of year. This variety here is considered a day neutral variety, whereas it doesn't. They've done a lot of breeding, and they've picked out some varieties that are not sensitive in their maturity date to the day length. So this variety actually will produce pretty much year round until we get a frost.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So,
Because I know a couple of times we've had late strawberries
uh-huh.
over here.
Yep. Unfortunately, we actually came through and picked these this morning.
I guess so. We're getting any strawberries, but
We could go over to the other side of the patch, where you could have some slightly underripe strawberries.
look at the corn.
It's a rogue corn over there.
It's just right in the middle of the strawberry patch. Couple of
So this variety, we'll pick this right until we get a frost in October. Obviously, with the cooler weather, it'll slow down in its maturity. But it's kind of nice having these strawberries all summer long, right into September. When we get these periods where it's 90 degrees, they don't do too well. They actually prefer the cooler weather.
Now we have the irrigation system in here, right?
Correct.
Now how often does this get watered?
So there's drip irrigation under each row, and that will run depending on the weather. We like to give them, at least a half an inch of water per week. So if there's no rain,
Doesn't seem like much.
no. Well, it is actually kind of. For a strawberry plant, it has a rather shallow root system
yeah.
and not a very large leaf structure. Whereas a corn plant, when it's reaching full maturity, that one tends to need about an inch per week.
Oh.
So different crops require different quantities of water.
Right.
Also, it depends on the air. If you have a lot of still days with no wind and high humidity, you're going to get a lot less transpiration. Whereas if you have dry days and a heavy wind, then you're going to have a lot more transpiration. So the amount of water you give to the plant, you're really replacing the water it's taking from the soil.
Oh, okay.
So in this case, to answer your question, we would probably run that drip irrigation maybe about 8 to 10 hours per week.
That's not that bad.
No, it's really not that much water. The drip irrigation actually saves about at least 50% water compared to
But look at
overhead.
the harvest you get. Even with that small amount of water, you still get an enormous harvest here.
Correct.
Look at all these flowers ready to.
Yep, you can see all
produce
the
some more
flowers
strawberries.
we'll be harvesting for a long time to come.
Now, how long will it take for the flowers to turn into a strawberry?
It depends on the
point.
weather.
Yeah.
Around about 3 weeks at
weeks,
this
yeah.
time of year.
Cool.
All right.
All right.
You want to go eat some different fruit?
Sure. What do we have? We have raspberries.
Yeah, we can head over to some raspberries and blackberries over here if you like.
Those would be good. Do you put strawberries in a salad? Have you done that?
I usually eat them before they get to the salad.
Oh. Yeah.
I just kind of eat them
Yeah, I
right
can
away.
understand
really.
why.
Yeah. This is another
I've
nice
seen
one.
them in a salad, but I'm not so sure I want strawberries in my salad.
Ready?
Ready.
Let's go.
Well, Dave, I see since we've been here last June, there's a new addition behind me, and I see you have a new greenhouse.
Yep.
Now, what do we have in this greenhouse?
We're constantly making improvements on the farm. We put that greenhouse up last year, and we grew a crop of spinach in it.
Oh,
So we planted the spinach last September, and we really didn't harvest any in the fall, but it overwintered in there. Even though we had a super cold winter, it remained just warm enough in there so that the spinach survived through the winter.
That's
And then
terrific.
we started harvesting the spinach again in March.
Oh, wow.
So all of March and April into May,
So it
we
did very
harvested.
well in there.
Yeah, and then in May we started harvesting spinach outside. So
Oh.
it kind of gave us spinach 2 months earlier.
that's great.
Right now there's tomatoes in there, and tomorrow we're actually going to be seeding some kale. We're going to transplant kale in there.
Oh, that's great. I love
Probably in October, and that kale won't be for harvest this year. That'll be for next spring's harvest. So we're going to do half kale and half spinach.
Do you do Swiss chard? Swiss chard out here?
Yeah, we grow about 3/4 of an acre of Swiss chard. That one doesn't overwinter very well, though. It doesn't take the cold temperatures.
Now the kale, there's several varieties. I know that we've had. I think I called it dinosaur.
Yep.
Is that what it's called, or?
Yep, dinosaur, also
Okay, I
known
got
as
it right.
Tuscan, also known as lacinato. It's an Italian variety.
It's a different consistency on the leaves.
It is,
Very
it is,
different. But
yeah.
the taste is still excellent.
I actually prefer that one,
Do you?
but it doesn't take the cold as well. So by November, that one's not going to
We
be too
we
happy.
grew that, and it was very, very good.
Yeah. Whereas a lot of some of the other varieties we grow of kale will last well almost pretty much till Christmas.
What do you do with your kale?
I had some this morning actually, just kind of sauteed in a pan with some olive oil, scramble up some eggs,
Ooh,
throw in a few spices in the eggs,
kale omelet.
throw it in there after the kale has kind of softened up,
Yeah,
and then just kale and eggs.
sounds good.
Great breakfast.
Sounds real good.
Yep.
Let me ask you about ramps. Are you familiar with ramps?
I'm not actually. I mean, I know what they are.
I believe it's
But
in the onion family.
correct.
I saw it on TV, but I said, I don't think I've ever seen any ramps when we come out here.
Yeah. More Quebec and Vermont seem to be
Oh, is it?
better known for it. I don't know if it likes the cooler temperatures or the more wooded areas. I don't know.
What are they,
exact-
like leaf feet?
I don't know.
Scallion.
Oh, they look like a scallion?
Yeah. But again, you harvest them in a wooded area.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
I was just curious. I saw it and I said, I don't believe I've seen a
But this is
ramp.
not a ramp time of year.
Not a ramp time of year. Okay.
All right.
Let's wrap it up.
All right, let's ramp
Ramp
it
it up.
up.
Oh. You missed that, huh, Dave?
I got it actually.
Well, look at this behind me. What a beautiful shot this is, Bob. And what do we have growing here, Dave?
Take a guess.
Spinach?
No.
Carrots?
No.
Radishes?
No.
All right. Oop.
Well, I can.
sings.
Last Thanksgiving, around last Thanksgiving, we actually planted garlic here.
Garlic.
And there was garlic here growing through the winter, basically.
Wow.
And then we harvested all the garlic about 2 weeks ago. And then we plowed it all under. And then we planted a late crop of beans.
Oh, green beans. Wow.
So these beans might barely just make it in time before frost.
Oh,
If we
that's
have a late frost, they'll be ready around the end of September.
I put mine in hanging baskets because I have a very hungry woodchuck.
Oh,
So I said, no, you're not going to get them. So I put them in a hanging basket, and Woody roamed around.
you're
but
pretty smart, Gay.
Hey,
Yeah.
I outsmarted that little rodent. You gotta think about it after being taken so many years, I said one year I had to plant green beans 3 times. I put chicken wire all the
yeah.
inside. He still burrowed underneath. But I
Nice.
went, oh, that's it. You know what we planted this year that was different, and they're delicious? Edamames.
Edamame.
Oh, they're
that's
wonderful.
healthy. Yeah.
Yeah, we put them in a hanging basket. They're delicious. I mean, we've been eating them raw, but obviously you can cook them and just put a little Parmesan on it or whatever you
Sure,
want,
sure, sure. Good for you.
Soybeans.
Well, do you remember a
Soybeans.
few years ago you got lost in this field?
I did.
Yeah.
Just when the maize was
Yeah.
hit. Yeah.
That's when the maize was here.
Yeah, it was pretty
But you
amazing.
won't get lost in the bean field now, will you?
No, I think I could find my way out of this one.
Gay, lost in the edamame.
Well, yeah. I think I only planted I don't know what I planted, 2 or 3 of those in a basket. But I think next year I would plant more
Right.
because you get a lot of them. The outside of the pod is very hairy.
Right. Right.
It's really good.
Fuzzy.
Yeah, fuzzy.
Kind of like a peach.
It is kind of.
We're
don't
actually
think you
growing
can
a lot
eat that,
of
though.
harvesting a lot of peaches now over
Are
at
you?
our orchards in Westford, over at the Hill Orchards.
Oh.
We have peaches, plums. We finished with the apricots already. Now we're
Oh.
picking a lot of nectarines and apples. We'll pick some apples here as well.
Nice.
And pears too. About 5
Oh, you
different
got
varieties
pears?
of pears. Yeah, we're already harvesting the Claps favorites. The red Bartletts are now ready. Probably next week the Bartletts will start. The
I have-
Boscs aren't ready till later in September.
I have a pear tree, but I also have squirrels, and they go after my pears. Have you ever seen that?
Uh-huh.
I know. I see the branches going like this. I said, what's going on in that tree? And there's a squirrel looking right at me. I said, get away from my pears.
Did he understand you?
Only when I chased them. I said, leave them alone.
All right, well, we were heading over to this area to get to the raspberries. We're
All right.
almost there.
We're almost there.
Let's get to some raspberries because I think we're hungry.
Let's do it. Well, we almost didn't wait for Bob, did we, Dave?
No, we almost left them in the dust.
We did, because right to my right over here, Bob, there are a lot of red raspberries. And I think we're going to go in and pick a couple and see.
So we picked a lot of raspberries this morning.
Yes, we did.
started at the top of the hill and we picked downhill.
Oh.
This is pretty much where we stopped. So tomorrow morning we'll pick up here.
Finish here?
So you have a few you can eat there.
Yes.
So we grow about 4 or 5 different varieties of raspberries. This is the last variety called Heritage.
Oh.
Or is it Caroline? Maybe this one's Caroline.
Do they
One of
vary
the two.
in sweetness?
Yes,
They do.
they always do. And depending on weather.
Yeah.
But this variety just started maturing about 2 weeks ago.
Oh.
And this is a late variety that will go right until frost,
All over my
right into
fingers.
October. Similar to those late strawberries. We'll have these nice and late into the
Well, the
season.
bees are still pollinating. Mm-hmm. Oh, very good.
We have some earlier varieties that start maturing in mid-June. over there in the plastic roofed high tunnel.
Oh.
We planted some raspberries this spring. We'll start harvesting those next spring, hopefully the first week of June. So my goal is to have a pretty continuous raspberry harvest from June 1st to about October 15th.
No, so when is the last harvest here?
Frost. Well, when we have a
Before,
hard, really
like,
more
just
of a
say
freeze.
October, probably?
Yeah, sometime in October, you could say. We almost always make it into October now.
Do we? Yeah.
Yeah. Global warming is pushing back the first frost, I find.
We need to send the cold somewhere else, and the earth needs to revolve so we have the constant warmth and they can have our cold.
You want to evolve the earth?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
Good luck.
I want. I don't want any more cold here. We want to eat this all year
What if
round.
we just evolve you and send you south?
Well, there's a possibility.
But we try to keep our rows rather narrow so that we have a good amount of air movement.
So they don't get all.
Yeah, because then you start to get moldy berries and yucky berries. So you can see there's a lot of air movement amongst these branches. And that really helps to give us a nice healthy berry. So obviously we'll pick a lot of raspberries again tomorrow. And then the next day and the next day.
Now, how much does this produce? I mean, well, there's so many. You can't say anything from one bush, obviously, but you get quite a few.
Probably get at least 5,000 pounds of raspberries out of this patch, if not a lot more than that.
And where do they go?
All over eastern Massachusetts. From
CSA?
pretty much a little bit where we go as far as south as Quincy, as far north as Newburyport, as far west as Westford.
So you must have a lot of farmers markets right now.
Yep, farmers
Encourage
markets and the CSA.
Right.
We've got over 1,000 members that participate in the CSA.
That's excellent. Really built up, didn't it?
Yeah, people love it. And especially families with kids. The kids love it, and the kids are eating healthier. Everybody eats healthier, obviously.
Sure.
Not just the kids, but no, it's very well received, and everybody has to eat, and
That's true.
people are trying to eat as healthy as possible.
Plus, it tastes good.
It tastes good. In the case of the raspberries, I mean, they were picked this morning, and the people are eating them this afternoon.
Look at that, huh?
And then, tomorrow, we usually try to pick the raspberries about every 2 days off of the same plant. So we'll start at the top, go down, about halfway down one day, and then the next day, the other half.
So are you in your fruit CSA now, or are you just combining?
We do both. We do a vegetable CSA and a fruit CSA.
Okay.
And then starting in November, we combine the two.
Oh, okay.
But by then, the only fruit really is apples.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of apples, there's some behind us. You want to go check them
Is
out?
there?
Yeah. Well, let's stop and have some corn first
Oh, let's
before
do
we get to
that.
the apples.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dave's clearing the brush out for us. Well, thank you. You're such a gentleman, clearing out the brush to get to the corn.
Well, this is called a green manure.
Yeah, but yeah. So I see we have some really big corn behind us. What variety do we have?
Well, try one. Tell me what you think.
All right.
This corn is barely ready. Want me to do that for you?
Sure. Is there a quicker way than what I was doing?
Yeah.
Obviously, I was doing one leaf at a time. It's worth it when you get to the corn. Oh, that is so sweet.
That's
this considered butter?
perfect ripeness. It's a butter and sugar.
Wow. Now, when did you plant this?
About 80 days ago.
Oh. So let me ask you, how long does it take for radishes to come to?
Radishes? Depends on the time of year. Anywhere from 22 days to 2 months in November.
Oh, okay. Because I planted radishes, but I planted them in a pot. It said
That's
you
different.
could, yeah. They said you can put it in a pot, so I got a big pot and I put. They're called watermelon radishes, and they're
Those
white.
are good to store also.
Oh, are they? How do they taste? I haven't gotten them yet.
Very good.
Are they sweet? Sweeter than the red ones?
A little bit.
The red ones are kind of peppery, aren't they?
Well, it depends on how you grow them
Oh.
and the temperatures. Since we're right here, I thought I'd point out
What is this now? Is this for critters?
it's an insect trap.
That's what I said.
So on the bottom is this little thing here. Bob probably can't see it.
Oh yeah, look at that. You see
and
that?
that has a what's called a pheromone in it, which is an attractant to the insect.
Is it a scent?
Yes, so it's a scent that they're attracted to.
Right.
So they're attracted to that scent, so they're flying around and they say, ooh, that smells what I like. Mm-hmm. They come over here because they smell it there, and they naturally fly up when they're blockaded.
Oh, they do.
So
yeah.
they fly up into this cone, and
And then they get
trapped in the top here because it's kind of like a funnel shape at the top, and then they
Yeah.
can't get out. So that's an insect trap that we use for the corn.
Now, how many of those do you put in here?
There's
See
one. Yeah, there's one
two,
here.
but I
There's
don't
another
see
one.
any.
There's another one inside there
Oh,
as well.
there's one inside.
Yeah.
Oh. So you get actually quite a few insects. caught in
Depends on the
this?
time of year. Sometimes there's a lot. Sometimes there's not.
What kind of
They
insects? Beetles, maybe?
No. You're usually European corn borer and corn earworm.
Are they
Sometimes
native?
some fall armyworm. Well, the European corn borer, from its name, that one originated in Europe.
And they come all the way over here.
Well, now they're indigenous. Well, not indigenous. Now they overwinter here, but not in this part of the country. They overwinter more south. And when we get these storms coming up the eastern seaboard, oftentimes a lot of these insects will come up with the storms.
Oh, they just sort of blow-ins,
Exactly.
really.
Yep, they're blow-ins. They usually don't overwinter here because it gets too cold in the winter. So usually you don't have those insects here usually until some point in July or August, depending on the year.
So they don't survive the winter, obviously, but yet they come back every year?
Correct.
Okay.
All right, let's go get some apples, and then we have to get to a
Wait a
dinner.
minute, I think Bob has a question.
What's Brazilian corn?
What is Brazilian corn? There we go. We've heard
Ask a
about
Brazilian. Brazilian corn, I believe, and I'm not an expert on that, it tends to be different varieties. It's usually not as sweet, but you might have a little bit more corn flavor.
Yeah, I thought it was very bitter corn. I think the Brazilians like that corn, even though it's not something we could eat like this, because it's not that sweet. But someone had told me that they actually do something to it, and they make desserts out of it because it's not something you want to eat like this. It's a little too bitter or something.
I don't grow it.
Okay, I know.
Let's go get an apple.
That's all good. This is beautiful. We're out here in the apple orchard, and look behind us. We'll just get out of the way for a second, and Bob has a beautiful panoramic view of all these apples. What kind of apples are we talking here?
We're in the Cortland section right now. We grow about a dozen different varieties here in this block of orchard. It's about 4 acres in size.
Are we on your way here, Bob? We'll move out a little bit so you can get a good shot.
This variety of Cortland won't be ready for another 3 to 4 weeks. We do have some ginger golds that we're harvesting now. We have some McGowans, some Gold Rush, Golden Delicious, Macintosh, of course.
Now,
Gala.
Are these the most popular
Braeburn.
cooking apple?
Yes,
Cortland?
they are, by far.
And Jonah Red, are they?
Jonah Red's not so much for cooking, but it's a good variety.
It's a good eating.
At our other orchard, we're also harvesting some Gravensteins right now.
Oh, I don't.
We've already harvested all the Paula Reds.
Are they sweet, Gravensteins?
Not so much.
No?
You
Can
might
you
think of
cook
it
with them?
more towards, it's not sour. Gravenstein's an excellent early cooking apple,
Oh, okay.
actually. Kind of use Gravensteins until for a whole month before the Cortland's are ready.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's terrific.
So,
So you have quite a few varieties out here now.
Yeah, like
Do
I
you
said,
have
about
yellow apples?
yep.
Oh, you had the
Golden Delicious, Gold Rush. I think of those the two, and then the Ginger Gold as well.
That's very good.
Yeah. So we're growing a lot of different fruit and vegetables
Yes,
here on
we
the
are.
farm.
I've noticed how big these trees have gotten
Yeah.
since we were here last.
Yeah.
They've really shot up.
Yeah. No, they're.
Because you were having a problem with the deer. Do you still? Or we have
No,
the
we
fence
put up
over
the
there,
deer
right?
fence, yeah, to keep the deer out.
So then.
But you can see we've also, similar to the raspberries, we've pruned these trees so that you can get a lot of light and air in here.
Right.
Minimizing a lot of the disease problems. So you can see how nice and light and airy it is. I think it's a,
So a few more weeks and these will be ready.
yep, about 3 more weeks, three to 4. So
Terrific.
we have to go to a dinner, Gay.
All right,
I don't want to be late
That's all right.
for dinner.
Let's go.
Dinner in the barn.
We're going to dinner in the barn now.
Let's go to
folks.
dinner, Bob.
Come on.
Okay, guys, my name is Justin Jordan. I'm from Elder Services. That's Renee Baker in the back. She's from Elder Services, too. Bonnie Siston, she's from Elder Services. Chef Bob, he's from Chefs of the Old World. And this is Farmer Dave. He owns the farm. And this is Elder Services' third annual Farm to Table tasting. This event's around fresh food, and we're just trying to create awareness and educate elders on fresh food and really how to prepare it and how to serve it and all that good stuff. So I'm just going to introduce Farmer Dave, Chef Bob. They're going to talk a little bit about the farm, and then he's going to get into his presentation of how to prepare fresh local food. All right, here's Farmer Dave.
Thank you very much for coming, everybody. I apologize, I'm kind of losing my voice a little bit. I guess I'm talking a lot these days. This is not a speaker. I'd like to introduce my fiancée, Jane. We're gonna we're gonna be getting married in less than 3 weeks. It's a busy time of year on the farm. I'd also like to give a round of applause to the 48th anniversary of my parents over here. So welcome to the farm. I think we're going to have a wonderful dinner here. And this is my farm, as you can see out the door. I started working on farms here in Dracut when I was a kid, working at Brock's Farm. I have been leasing the Brock's Farm also since 1997 and continue to do so. And I've owned this farm since 2006. We also grow at Hill Orchard in Westford and the East Street Farm in Tewksbury. So basically we're growing in 3 different farms on a total of about 100 acres. We have 3 farm stands, about 10 farmers markets, and a very large CSA program with about 1,000 members that get fruits and vegetables every single week. We also have a lot of greenhouses where we grow a lot of crops off of the main season, many different tomatoes and cucumbers and different greens. So we grow a very wide variety of fruits and vegetables in different areas, and we feed a lot of people. So I don't want to go on too long. I guess you have some folders with some information about the farm that you can pick up later. And so without further ado, let's talk food.
Thank you very much, Dave. It's a pleasure to be here once again. For the past couple of years, we've been blessed by having Justin and Renee invite us to help out in some of these demonstrations. Again, as Justin said, to promote awareness of some of the fresh fruits and vegetables that are right in our area. I've traveled to different towns. This is the first time being here with Dave, and we get a sampler box that we kind of make this little tasting. And I was blessed to see that Dave put in some, were they yellow carrots, Dave, that you gave us? So yellow carrots, which some of these items that I saw are very special to a chef in the kitchen. The farmers are our best friend because when we present food, we try to get the freshest possible food because, in essence, that's what makes our job a lot easier. So I want to thank Dave for some of the nice fresh vegetables that we got in the box from Justin to make. What we're doing today is in the package. I don't know if Justin gave you the package yet, but you will be able to get our recipe of a simple vegetable soup which we put together for many reasons. I know it's summertime and I know it might be a little bit warm today. However, soups are a year-round thing. I try to keep it somewhat light today. Dave, in the box, Dave had some zucchini and he had some yellow squash and carrots and some nice fresh celery, as well as some fresh onions. So I took it upon myself to make what I call just a regular vegetable soup. Now, soups are a very simple and quick way, especially when we don't have a lot of time to put a meal together. And stop for a minute and think to yourself, vegetable soups, studies have showed that they're very high in nutrients, something that we all need, especially as we get a little older. The other thing that they are is they kind of quell our appetite a little bit. What I mean by that is other studies have shown that if you're watching your weight and you're conscious about what we're doing at later stages of our life, soups can be a help in that respect. Of course, the soups with starches such as rice or pasta or potatoes kind of can't fall in that same category. So what I did today, you don't have the recipe in front of you, but my two assistants, which I forgot to introduce, they're very important to us today. They're preparing a little sample. I call it a summer vegetable soup. I gave you briefly the ingredients. I'll go over them again. They're a simple onion, celery, Dave's yellow carrots. We got zucchini, summer squash, and I made it with a vegetable base. You can, don't be afraid to buy at the supermarket, and always keep in your cupboard a nice vegetable or a nice chicken stock, because that can expedite how much time you take in the kitchen to put things together. My assistant, my sister Diane, and my lovely niece Riley, what they're doing as I speak is they're just lightly buttering some bread, and it tastes like butter, so it's not real butter, so if anybody is worried, it's a margarine. We also will have a few pieces of dry bread, so that when you get the sample, if you want something with no butter on it, tell Justin of one of us and we'll take care of it. And we're going to start ladling out some of the soup. Now, there's a couple of different ways. As I talk, I'm going to pop this open so that they can get a few of these things ready. With vegetables, I'm sure Dave will attest to this. There's many ways. It's not just putting vegetables in which, don't get me wrong, steaming and boiling vegetables are very good, but why not try roasting vegetables? When you go to the farm stand and when you get fresh product, lightly oil a pan, lightly toss with olive oil a pan and your, let's say, carrots or broccoli or any type of vegetable, even a squash. If you don't feel like peeling the squash, at least cut it in half, take the seeds out, cut it in pieces, and put the skin side down. Roasting vegetables really intensify the sweetness. There's natural sugars in everything that's grown. So these sugars, you guys have probably remember, I'm going to say liver and onions, but the way I know, but the people who like that dish like the caramelized onions. Caramelized onions are used in many different dishes, but the sweetness that is brought out by that onion is something that's way different than actually sautéing or steaming onions. But these are all little tips that when you're in the kitchen, feel free to utilize the vegetables that are grown locally. Dave will tell you, sometimes these products that we get in the supermarket are picked not at their peak season. We only have a shortened, abbreviated growing season here in New England, so take advantage of it when we can. Okay? Any questions? Okay, if you have any questions while you're sampling, feel free to ask, and I appreciate being here again, and thank you very much.
Farmer Dave, would you mind just talking about the CSA program?
Sure.
If people aren't familiar with it.
Do we want to bring one over? And I'll go through one. So our CSA program, CSA stands for Community Supported Agriculture. And I'm just going to stand over here so I don't get in the way of the soup. So in community supported agriculture, it's a type of farming and eating that's a little bit different than the traditional market-based system that we have in the United States, where the farmer grows a product and then people go to market and buy it. In the CSA model, people basically sign up with the farmer for a share of the harvest. So all the marketing, if you will, and purchasing gets done before the seeds even go in the ground. And then as we harvest the product from the field, and I want to make sure we have a nice varied harvest throughout the season, the shareholders of the farm for the season get a variety of fruits and vegetables each week. So this week, for example, you can see we have a regular size share and a small size share. We have celery, scallions, tomatoes, cherry tomatoes, broccoli, All this has been harvested within the last 24 hours, so it's super fresh. Bob mentioned that a lot of the produce that we get in the supermarket has been harvested somewhat immature so that it can be stored longer and shipped better, so it doesn't bruise as easily. In the case of tomatoes, as we all know, you want those tomatoes to be harvested vine ripe for best flavor. So we have these nice fresh tomatoes that were harvested either yesterday or this morning. We have different colors of peppers, different flavors of peppers. We like to put in some different variety of things as well, such as kale. Kale's become more and more popular. So this is a sample of what was sent out this morning to our CSA locations. A little bit of broccoli, bok choy, onions. It looks like you also have some onions on your tables. Green beans and wax beans. The yellow carrots that Bob mentioned. Yep. We grow about 6 different varieties of eggplant. This is a Sicilian variety. And of course, our famous sweet corn. So each member gets some sweet corn this week. Cucumbers, we grow regular cucumbers and pickling cucumbers. And then in addition to the fruit share, in addition to the vegetable share, we also have a fruit share. And the fruit share this week included peaches, which we're harvesting out of our Westford Hill Orchard. So these were picked yesterday or the day before. Some donut peaches, a smaller, sweeter peach. Some Paula red apples from our orchard. A box of raspberries harvested this morning, as well as melons. It's now melon time of year, so we're harvesting from our Tewksbury fields cantaloupe, a red flesh watermelon, and this one's my favorite. It's a yellow flesh watermelon. I find it much sweeter than the red flesh. Yeah. So you can see we have a nice variety. People obviously enjoy it. That's why they can decide to renew every year. And then they tell their friends, and the only one downside that I ever hear is that it's too much food. So a lot of people will sometimes split shares. Sometimes parents that are a little bit older will buy a share and then have their kids come over and take some of it home to make sure that they're eating healthy. Family with children love it because their children actually eat more of the vegetables because they are so fresh and flavorful.
Is CSA, is that for individual people, or are you dealing with, and how do you get involved with it? Is it like a food stamp program or something?
No, in your folders that you're going to get to take home.
They'll be on the table at the end for you to grab.
Yeah. So people can pay partially with their EBT cards as well as an option. But they usually pay before the season, and we have payment programs as well. So people can start paying as early as January. We have a spring share that starts in March and goes until June. And right now we're in what we call the main season, which goes from June through October. And then we have another period called the late fall season, which will go until the middle of December. So you can sign up online. People will sometimes just mail it in. You can pay by credit card, by check. We try to make it flexible and easy for everybody. Yeah.
There's Wilson Farms in that?
Yep, several farms do it now. Wilson Farms in Lexington does it also. Yeah. Any more questions about our CSA program? Everybody's enjoying their soup?
Yes. Wonderful, thank you. Thank you.
Dave, thank you very much.
So enjoy.
Keep the growing going.
On the case. He's a troublemaker, sorry.
There might be a question here from this young lady.
Question right here. We have some apples over here that you can take home. If you want to purchase some of my product, depends which town you're in. We have the 3 farm stands open today at the Hill Orchard in Westford, the East Street Farm in Tewksbury, or the Brock's Farm stand here in Dracut. We're also at some farmers markets today. Today's what, Thursday? We're in Lynn, Chelmsford. We're at the Chelmsford Farmers Market today, and also the Gloucester Farmers Market. Yesterday we were in East Boston and Reading. Tuesday we were in Westford. Monday in Beverly. Tomorrow we're in Revere. Saturday's Andover and Wakefield. And Sunday's Wilmington, Newburyport, and Somerville. Yes. What happened to what? Most of the people that live in Lowell, we also have home delivery, so they can get home delivery in Lowell, and we have some people in Lowell that take advantage of that. A lot of people will come directly here to the farm, or to the farm in Tewksbury, or in Westford. So we're kind of surrounding Lowell. Yeah.
But I can get information on that?
Yes. Yeah. And you'll have some information in your pamphlet.
There is a farmers market in front of the Lowell City Hall.
Yep.
On Friday. I think it's 2 to 5 or 2 to 6, something like that.
Yeah, but it's not the world.
No, I mean,
Yeah.
they do cater to the people that can't get their vegetables from
Right,
overseas.
and I've gone there and,
I know I've got a lot of fruits and vegetables from them too one time.
yeah, it's not too bad.
Okay.
It's different than what you have.
Okay. We do grow a very wide range of product. We also grow at some of our farmers markets, like in East Boston. We sell to a lot of different Central Americans. We also have certain Brazilian crops that we grow for different markets. We have some Asian eggplant as well.
Whatever you put me down in the co-op, is that the one across from State Hospital?
Correct. Yep, our Tewksbury location is on the corner of East and Livingston, which East Street is basically Dascombe Road if you were coming off of 93. I actually leased the property from the State Hospital, so it's right there near the State Hospital. It's a very busy farm stand. We also have our CSA pickup there on Wednesdays and Thursdays. We harvest our crops in the 3 different towns at the different farm locations. Here in Dracut, we have fields here on this farm, at the Brock's farm. Also, if you go through the woods here or down Wheeler Street at the Waller farm and the Taplin farm. We have the fields in Tewksbury and Westford. And presently what we do is we harvest the product from all those locations and then bring them to a central location, excuse me, which is presently at Brock's farm. Next year, that will be this building next to us here. I'm going to have better refrigeration, loading docks, so all the product gets harvested from the fields. It will then come here, get washed, cooled down in the refrigerators. On the other side of the building, we have loading docks to put things on the trucks, and then go out to those different locations that I mentioned.
It looked like the East Street area there, they weren't growing anything this year.
No, they are. Yeah, all those melons were harvested from there.
I guess I looked for the corn.
Yes, yes. That field over there, so different fields lend themselves better to different crops. We've always had problems with corn in Tewksbury because it's such a sandy soil. We'd have to irrigate almost every 4 days, which was just too much work to irrigate that much. So we've basically switched over to drip irrigation over there, and corn does not lend itself to drip irrigation very well. So we usually grow sweet potatoes, cucumbers, summer squash, zucchini squash, Coosa squash, and all the cantaloupe and watermelon over there. And we also do a late crop after the first summer squash and zucchini is harvested. We'll often plant our last batch of kale, collard greens, and broccoli and cabbage over there. So that's growing over there as well. And we'll harvest those late crops right through into December, actually.
Now, the cantaloupe, unfortunately, I bought it in the supermarket, and I've thrown the last 3 I bought in the trash. Now, if I'm buying a cantaloupe, what should I look for to know that it's going to be good inside?
Well, see, part of the problem is most of the cantaloupe that you get in the supermarket usually comes out of Arizona or California at this time of year. In the winter, it usually comes from Chile. And whenever they're shipping something, you always have to harvest that fruit a little bit less ripe, so that the rind is a little bit stiffer and can withstand the shipping. So you have to be very careful when you're harvesting it that early to try to get it at that almost ripe period. Whereas when I harvest a cantaloupe, cantaloupe's much easier than a watermelon to harvest. If it won't pop off the stem, it's not ready. So if you get one of my cantaloupe, you know that we haven't harvested it if the stem won't let go. But if you're shipping it and it has to last for at least a week, you have to harvest it a little bit greener, and you almost have to knock that stem off a little bit. In the case of the watermelon, we usually go by the knock. First we look at the color. Once you start to see some yellowing on the watermelon, you know that that's a sign that it might be almost mature, and you give it a slight knock. You want a lower pitch sound than a higher pitch sound. A higher pitch sound means that it's not ready yet. So in the supermarket on the watermelon, you can go by the knock also.
Now, does East Street sell the cantaloupe right there?
Oh yes, yep. All of our locations sell all the melons.
Right.
Rock, is that same, yeah?
At Brock's Farm, we also have the cantaloupe and the watermelon, the red and green.
I only know.
Right now we have a good amount of all of them. The cantaloupe is going to start to go downhill a little bit, whereas the watermelon will have right till the middle of September.
So we're getting past cantaloupe.
In another week, we will, yeah. Yes?
You're at the perfect time for your farms, because everyone is into fresh vegetables. I mean, it didn't matter in the 50s when I grew up. Didn't matter whether it was fresh or
Right.
whatever. Now, I go to 3 or 4 farmers markets a week, if not farms.
Yeah,
To get my fresh vegetables.
Right.
It's important that we have fresh vegetables.
what happened?
As far as on 38, there used to be a farmer's market right.
The farmer's market doesn't have any, their farmers there. The farmer's market on Saturday,
Mm-hmm.
it has vendors that doesn't have any farms.
Right. I don't know, you would have to ask them about that.
Doesn't have any farms.
Yeah, I mean, we have the farm stand right there.
Why we go. Billerica, Chelmsford, Westford, we go, and we're
Yep.
going to Chelmsford today. But we also, whenever we're out driving, we'll stop at a farm.
Right.
You know, so we don't eat too much potatoes. We have cheap green vegetables with our dinner,
Right,
whether it be mushrooms. So
right. No, you're right. I think the American diet is slowly switching from a meat and potatoes to more of a Mediterranean, if you will, or almost an Asian type of diet with a lot more greens in it. If you look at the Chinese and Vietnamese type of diet, you see a lot more greens, and you see the American diet slowly switching towards that. Yeah. If you go to our website, we have a lot of recipes on the website as well. Yeah. Library. Go to the library.
yes.
Sure.
You know, the crazy part is the hospitals and the physicians and all used to tell you, meat, potato, and vegetables. Healthy diet.
Right.
In the proportions they want you to eat.
Well, now a lot of people are vegetarians and are learning that you don't necessarily have to have meat, and you can replace, get proteins from vegetables and from legumes.
And I went in, everything else. And they told me all the time, I didn't eat meat. Wasn't eating meat. And I was getting protein from other sources, but as far as they were concerned, I was eating a healthy diet.
Right. No, a lot of our health problems originate with our diet. You're right. Question over here?
What if you're anemic? What is a good vegetable to eat if you're anemic?
Spinach. Perhaps kale also? Kale. A lot of your dark greens. Yeah, and you can see, in the box we have a lot of kale, the bok choy. I would assume the broccoli as well. That whole brassica cole crop family would be very good. I've seen a lot of Caesar salads are now starting to switch away from romaine lettuce, and they're now making Caesar salads from chopped up kale. It's much healthier. Yeah.
How many acres do you have?
Here at this farm, it's about 30 acres. We grow on a total of about 100. Yeah. Any questions from this table? Besides this one?
You have apples too?
Yes. Yep.
Can you grow them here too?
Yep. We have a 4-acre orchard back here. We have a 10-acre orchard in Westford. where we have pick your own apples.
We're all from West.
Then you know the Hill Orchard.
Found out where you were. We kept saying we go by there all the time. We couldn't, you know, when you know something, when you say that, it's like.
Right. Yep. Hunt and Chamberlain. Yep.
Didn't know that. I saw it, but I didn't remember.
Correct. The same one. Yeah.
But you're at the Westwood Farmers Market.
Yes, on Tuesdays. Yeah.
I only just went only by myself. I got one tomato, one cucumber.
Sure.
You have to go to each guy. Takes care of Now, where are you going to have your wedding?
No, it's going to be on the Cape. Her parents live down there now. Yeah. No honeymoon till December, though.
What made you decide?
I said no honeymoon till December.
What made you decide to do this food thing?
It was Renee's idea.
1 second. Hi, everybody. Chef Bob has to head out, and I just wanted to thank him and give him a round of applause. I hope you enjoyed the soup. Okay.
Thank you very much, Dave, and good luck on your marriage. Okay, we'll see you again. Okay.
Bye, Bob. Thank you. Hi there. So, I think I heard your question, but will you repeat it for me? How did this start? So we actually, at Elder Services, Justin and myself and Bonnie, we work in the Community Programs Department. And in the community programs, we do a lot of different initiatives and projects in the community throughout the whole Merrimack Valley. So we cover 23 cities and towns from Salisbury down to Dunstable. And 3 years ago, we started holding these farm-to-table tastings, one in each of the regions. So one in Greater Haverhill, one in Greater Lawrence, and one in Greater Lowell. We began them because National Food Day is actually October 24th, and it's something that is celebrated across the country. And really, it's just to bring awareness to people of all ages about fresh local produce and how important it is to eat healthy and for, of course, your health and wellness. So we thought this would be a fun way to do events, something different, you know, for older adults. And this is the first year that we're doing it here, which is really wonderful. And this is actually our first event of the season. So you are our guinea pigs for this year, for 2015, and then we have a few more scheduled in the next couple of weeks in different areas of the valley.
The soup
Was it?
very good.
Excellent. Wonderful.
Salty, chock full of
Very good.
yellow tomatoes. I like that.
Yeah. So just while I have your attention, if anybody has questions about Elder Services or resources, there is information in these folders that we'd like you to take on the way out, but we're happy to talk to you today too if you have any questions, and if not, there's the number in there that you would want to call with that. There's also some apples that are from Farmer Dave, so feel free to help yourself, and some pens and other goodies on that table. But that really concludes our program. If anybody has any other questions, we're happy to answer and walk around and talk to people.
Is that yellow water?
It is. It's from Farmer Dave. Yellow watermelon.
I don't like watermelon, but I'm going to try the yellow. I like it.
Excellent. Did you have anything else?
Well, Dave, that was quite a little dinner.
Well, it's something different, isn't it? I
is.
didn't know what to expect. They asked me if I would host it, and why not?
And-
They brought in all the food, and I just had to provide the location.
They just threw you right up there and said, okay.
There were a lot of
tell us all
questions, weren't
about it."
there?
I know there were a lot of questions.
I wish I had had a speaker, a loudspeaker.
Yeah, I know. Well, that was a really good soup, too.
I haven't had any yet. Is there any left?
No. But you know what we would like is, I'd like to try the yellow watermelon. That went like that. That's gone.
There's a whole one over there in the crate.
I was going to say, that's all gone. But anyway, we've had a wonderful day over here with Farmer Dave. Long time coming. You've had a lot of traveling. I saw you in Ethiopia.
Yep, I was in Ethiopia this past winter.
What did you do over there?
I was teaching at an agricultural college. I had about 250 students in the plant science department that I was teaching.
Wow.
I went over there for about 3 weeks only.
Oh, that's very nice.
Didn't have as much free time this winter as
No, I know.
others.
We've tried to catch up with you a couple of times, but every time I call you, you were gone.
Where in the world is Farmer
I
Dave?
know. That's right. Where in the world is Farmer Dave? And it was a very nice day. And we thank you for having us over here. And
Well, I thought it'd be something different for you
it is, and I'm
to
sure
highlight
these,
something and hear what they're talking about.
These for
As
now.
well
See,
as-
when I did watermelon, they told me to hold it, put your hand on the top, and tap it on the side, and then you feel the vibrations, and the more vibrations, the riper it is.
That would make sense.
That's the way I test.
Okay.
I could knock it too.
I'll have to
I
try
suppose.
it.
Yeah,
Don't
try
knock it if it works.
Don't knock it if it. That's right. Alrighty then. Well, we have a lovely day here, and Bob, you're going to come over and join us. I have an apple for the road. One for the road.
I'll have
Dave.
one for you, not just for the road.
Great martinis, by the way.
Yeah. Cheers. Cheers to good
Oh,
eating.
thank you, thank you. You really know how to put on lunch. Let me tell you.
Wow.
We're having a wonderful time. It was so
tell
nice.
you, the yellow was awesome.
Oh,
Wasn't it?
good.
Yes.
We have yet to try
Cheers to yellow watermelons.
Yeah, watermelon.
It went off the charts today, I'm telling you. It was very nice to see your fiance.
Yep.
We wish you both very well.
Thank you very much.
She's going to put up with you, right? Well, no choice. It's all right. We love you.
She does too.
That's a good
Hope
thing.
so.
So anyway, thanks for joining us. And
This is our first show of 2015.
it is.
Oh, we'll have to do another
Time of
one.
day.
We'll have to do more shows
Yeah,
now.
I agree.
Now that we're back in the swing of things. So what do we have coming up next? Maybe potatoes? What is
We
our
can
next?
dig more potatoes if you want.
We could.
Without the rocks.
How about the yellow carrots?
We can dig yellow carrots if you want.
Let's do that too.
Just tell me what you want to do.
We'll do it all.
You can roll around the dirt if you want to.
Okay, we could. I almost did today.
Look at that
I
sky.
tripped
Huh?
over that pipe.
That is a beautiful sky.
Unbelievable.
It's always so nice over here. We
Don't
get
you feel bad for the people that have to work in offices all day?
I know. It's awful.
Miss
Then they
all
want to
this.
go out and sit in a chair outside.
Absolutely.
So,
From Gay.
Bob,
And Dave,
Thanks for joining us. and
support your local farmer.
support
Eat
your
yellow
local
watermelons.
farmer.
And try the watermelon, yellow.
watermelons.
Is that a song,
What?
Yellow Watermelon?
I don't know any watermelon.
okay.
Oh, I
Something
do.
about a
Wait a
yellow
minute. I
watermelon.
do know a watermelon
we
song.
all live in a yellow watermelon?
No, no, no.
Oh.
I learned this at summer camp.
What's that?
Just plant a watermelon right on my grave. Let the juice slip through. Just plant a watermelon right on my grave. That's all I ask of you. Now Southern Fried Chicken might taste mighty fine, but nothing tastes better than a watermelon rind. So plant a watermelon right on my grave. Let the juice slip through.
Wow, that's a great morbid song.
No, quit the day
See?
job.
I just remembered. I knew a
great
watermelon song. Thank you.
Thanks for that, Gay.
Thank you. And you all practice that at home.